and welcome to this month's Safety Minute. Our habits are very interesting things. They're in almost everything we do. They're there in the morning when you wake up and exactly what you do the first moment you get out of bed. They're there when you get ready for work. They're there when you're driving to work and how you go to work, the route you take. They're there when you stop to get your coffee on the way to work. They're there when you get to work and you do all the things you do prior to even jumping into your task. They're there when we're done our jobs and on our way home. They're there when we go and do the things we love to do, when we hang out with our family, even when you turn on the TV. And the interesting thing is the reason we form so many habits is because our brains, they're constantly looking for ways to control energy. And if you think about it, the next time you have a crisis at work or at home where there's an emergency going on, when that crisis or emergency is over, consider how exhausted you feel. And the reason you feel so exhausted is because during that crisis, your brain was firing off on all cylinders. But that also consumed a lot of energy. See, our brains, they are energy consumers. And by forming habits, they allow us to conserve that energy. What's the interesting thing, though, about our habits as well, is every single habit we have is formed because it gives us a reward. Like the reason we get up in the morning and we get ready the way we do is so that we look our best. That's the reward. The reason we speed when we're on the road is to save time. That's the reward. The reason we go and get that cup of coffee in the morning is to get that kick of caffeine. The reason we don't want to fill out our forms or attend the meetings or take the time to go and get our safety glasses or hearing protection when we forgot them is so that we can get to work faster. And by doing that, we get to complete our jobs faster. That's the reward. The reason that we procrastinate is because then we can do things we want to do instead of things we have to do. And the reason sometimes we put our best effort in it is so that we can feel proud about what we did when it's accomplished and we can step back and take a look at it. There's always a reward to our habits, whether it's a good habit or a bad habit. What's interesting thing about habits is that they are also the reason on why people push back when you correct the way they're doing things. When a backseat driver corrects another person's driving, usually that driver will freak out, right? And it's not because they're trying to be rude, it's because their habit was asked to change. And the moment we have to change our habits, that then means we have to put out more energy from our brains to be able to create this new habit. But it also changes the reward. That's why we push back. Because we don't want to expel any more energy. And we're quite comfortable with the reward that we are getting. So in order to be able to change our habits, you have to first consciously be willing to change your reward. Like for instance, if you like to speed everywhere you go, you lose that reward of saving time, but you gain the reward of increasing the likelihood of getting to your destination, which is also the reason you got into the vehicle in the first place, was to get to where you're going. When you're willing to adjust your habit, you'll find you don't have to create a whole new habit. When someone approaches you about what you're doing, all they're saying is we want to just add something or modify what it is you're already doing. That old boy way of doing things still remains the same. We're just going to add in one more layer to it. And that layer might be filling out a pre-task assessment before you do your job or going to a toolbox meeting. It may be that you have to now lock out a piece of equipment before you can work on it. It may be that you have to start wearing personal protective equipment in an area where you never used to have to. Or that you have to stop rolling up your sleeves and unzipping your personal protective equipment and wear it properly so that when things go wrong, you're fully protected. They say the average person takes between 7 and 21 times of doing something before they make it a habit. And this really shows experience. If you have a lot of knowledge and experience on doing something, it's going to take you 21 times of doing something before you really change that habit. But if you have little experience on doing it, it'll take you as little as 7 times of doing something before you make it that habit. And the more open you are to willing to try things, the faster you will make it a habit. The more you fight it, the longer it will take. I want to give you an example of this. If you have a new hire come into your place of work and you have to train them on what they're doing and they have zero knowledge of the industry at all, they're going to listen and they're probably going to ask a lot of questions and they're going to want to accept everything you're sharing with them because they don't have a habit to rely on. So their brains are open and they want to learn what you have to teach them. But if you've been doing this job for a really, really long time and someone comes up and corrects what you're doing, or the company rolls out a new policy, that's when we tend to push back, do we not? Because we've already formed these habits and we don't want to change the way we do things. So sometimes maybe we should look at things from a new set of eyes, like we've never done it before. And I can promise you, by adding in these new policies, slowing down how you do things, filling out forms so you control hazards, wearing PPE, locking out equipment, all these things will help you get home every single day with a little bit more money in your pocket. And then I want to ask you, what's the reward of why you go to work? Is it not to make money and to go home a little richer? And if you form these safe habits, doesn't that prevent an injury so you can make your money and go home a little richer? Sometimes we maybe should look at our rewards, because when we align our reward with how we do things, we can make that positive habit. I hope you enjoyed this Safety Minute. If you want more videos like this, please hit the subscribe button. If you want to bring me out to your workplace, go to spencerspeaks.ca. And until the next Safety Minute, stay safe.